Welcome to your Multicultural channel. This is the Newcomer Network and I'm Jocelyn Gilbert. And let's keep talking about businesses, immigrants in businesses. And today we are going to be talking about building a profitable business with Carine Bado. Hi Carine, how are you?
Hi, Jocelyn. I am great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. And before we start, I would like you to introduce yourself.
My name is Carine Bado. Mon nom est Carine Bado. I help individuals who are interested to start a business here in Canada. And I also work with already established local businesses that are looking to grow and expand locally across province and sometimes across North America.
Yeah, so you work with everyone, not only with immigrants.
Absolutely. I work with everyone. Particularly, I have a strong focus for women entrepreneurs, BIPOC entrepreneurs, and newcomers because I am also originally from Ivory Coast. And though I've been here for 15 years, I always have a soft spot for immigrant and newcomers, particularly interested in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, based on your experience, Carine, what do you think it's something that we should mention in this newcomer network? Because our audience is immigrants.
Absolutely. If I take that own experience that I have, I can definitely say to immigrants that this is a new beginning for them and an exciting one. So they shouldn't be giving up on their dreams and aspiration. In fact, they should be pursuing their dreams and aspiration now here in Canada because it is a land of opportunities.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thanks.
This is our third episode talking about business. The first one we just talk in general. The second, the importance of personal branding as an entrepreneur. And we would like to go a little bit deeper with what you help immigrants, and I would like you to share a few tips for those people who already started or are planning to start a business here, based on finances or how to market, expand.
Absolutely. I think I always say entrepreneurs that it's great to have ideas, but if you're running a business, profit is at the table. I think sometimes in a lot of cases, people get carried away with being passionate, which is a wonderful personality trait. It's one of the strongest entrepreneurial personality traits, to be passionate, to be curious. But at the end of the day, if you're running a business, you need to make money for yourself, to support your family, to support your employee. So there is a concept of profit that is very, very important for entrepreneurs to understand and to keep learning. It's a journey of learning. So it's a good moment to start learning about how can I make profit. I have a business idea or I am running a business, but is it profitable? Am I breaking even? Am I able to pay my employees? Am I able to pay myself? And really going back to that concept of a business needs to be profitable to be able to continue, living on and for people to keep the doors open. So I am very, very well prepared to talk about profit because this is one of my background. I majored in accounting and I really love making numbers simple for entrepreneurs. It is very simple, it is.
And as a business consultant, how do you help those entrepreneurs or businesses to be profitable?
Absolutely. So if it's someone who just has an idea, meaning that they haven't started the business yet, they haven't registered, but they're thinking about it. They know they have talent, they know they have skills, they know they are interested in either starting a side hustle or diving deep into becoming a full-time, but they're not quite sure how to price their product or service. So regardless of if you're selling a product or if you are a service provider, there's different strategy that I help clients understand. So we do a lot of one-on-one. We also look at what other people are pricing for the exact same service or product, and we build what we call a pricing strategy. And it's very important for people to understand that the pricing is really what's your first line in terms of profit, because that's what generates the revenue. So if you underprice yourself, you may end up not being profitable. If you overprice, then you may end up losing clients. So there is that right alley that I help entrepreneurs based on the type of service or the type of product that they want to put on the market. I help them understand, and there's obviously a lot of calculation and Excel involved, but just really understanding the concept of pricing. And for people that are already in business, or maybe they came to Canada for newcomers or immigrant who came to Canada with already an extensive entrepreneurial background, they already understand accounting, they understand financial, they have financial literacy pretty advanced. So for them, we do most of what I call financial analysis, because let's say they've been in business for a year or 2 years, but they're not getting it right. But they already have some accounting data that I love looking at bookkeepings, and based on what they already have in terms of traction, I help them either improve the pricing or even look at other options to be profitable and leave that little niche of gray where you're not making money, but you're not closing, you're just kind of there living, or maybe it's very hard for you to keep seeing like a future for your business. So we talk a lot of strategy. Also, we do a lot of calculation using Excel, because it's numbers, and that's what I like about numbers. You just
I don't like those
there's no
numbers.
right or wrong. You just know it's right. So there's less guessing work compared to strategy and things like that, where there's a lot of overthinking. When it comes to number, there's really less guessing, because the data is already either available online or in the market, or if you've already been in business, you already have that data in your bookkeeping and financial statements.
And for those who have started lately, like me, because I just launched my own business and products, and we don't know how to set up the price. I think that this is something very important for us to know, because sometimes we are working very hard and we don't see the results because our prices are very low, or as you say, we might be losing clients because our prices are high. So it's very important. So I think we will have to talk about it after this conversation.
I love that.
Yeah, so price would be one of the first things to think about when you're thinking about having a profitable business.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Price, and the second thing will be cost. Like you say, depending on people aspiration in life, I think when we become entrepreneurs, you have your vision, like we say, you have your mood board or your storyboard, and you say, in 5 years, I will retire. In 10 years, I want my kids to go to university, and this is how much is. So there is a lot of long-term strategy that comes into place. And because of that long-term strategy that you want to achieve those goals, it's transpire into everyday step when you run a business. So now that you know your pricing, the other thing that you need to understand is your costs, right? As a business, whether you offer a service, your cost can go from renting your office, which is most of the time people will either work from home or have an office. All of the mind, like the time that you put into supporting your client, it has a cost associated to that. And usually you can look at the market. I often send to people, look at the market, see how much other consultant or service providers are charging per hour, and try to reconcile that with how much you're charging, and get that, at least that price that is fair for you, but also that is aligned to your goals.
Yeah.
Right? So cost is very important. For product, it's the same. Let's say you're running a shop, you know that you have inventory, you know that you will be, if it's a retail shop, for example, you will be selling, so you need to top the margin. And anything else that comes on top of that needs to be considered for you to finally get to that, what we call gross margin. So that revenue minus charges, it should be positive. It should be positive. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you're talking about those two aspects, I would like to mention the third one, that is the client.
Yes.
And sometimes, for example, in my community, I know people that would say, but this is just a little bit of flour, some eggs and butter. But with this, I can buy 20 cakes. But we're not thinking about the amount of time that you have to calculate in your pricing. And for example, I need to work on the pricing, and we need to think about so many things.
Absolutely.
Not only the ingredients, not only the containers, and that's very important when we're having a business to count and everything, but also educate the community. Because many people, as newcomers, we are coming with this mindset from our country that the labor is not very expensive, but here it is.
Absolutely. It is very important to, and I guess it's probably overlapping with the branding, because like you say, you go to a very popular shop in the Forks and you'll see the macarons is $20 for one macaron. And you can say it's a macaroon, but why are they pricing that
Where
at
is
$20? Where is it located? Who is the client? Although I love macarons, but I don't think I'm a client. And it's very important for newcomers to understand the process to finding your client. Because it's not just adjusting the price because you think people don't receive it well. It's really thinking about yourself as the brand and who you want to sell it to. And then once you understand who you want to sell it to, then these people will tell you what they're looking for. Maybe they want a macaron with glitters and something that's gluten-free. Then you understand that, okay, this is a clientele that has the means to pay for a gluten-free macaron. Versus if you feel like your clientele, they're not sensitive to ingredient, they're not sensitive to allergy or intolerance like that, you know that, okay, I'm not going to overprice myself because, like you say, they don't need a product that is as refined. And it's education, like you said, as immigrant, it takes time even to understand consumer behavior, right? It takes time, and I always encourage every time I talk to newcomers, entrepreneurs, or immigrant entrepreneurs, I say, keep learning, right? It's not I'm gonna do it right now, it's going to be perfect. No, it's a trial and error. You try with one product. I always say to people, try with one service and see how it goes. And how you keep refining your strategy and you keep understanding who is actually my client, then you can keep adding up to your service. Then you will have multiple package. I always say to entrepreneurs, start with one line and then see how you can streamline and have maybe multiple offering. That's gonna help you, diversify your clients. So that means more money for you.
Yeah.
Because there's different type of client who wants different things, and you can probably deliver different things if you take a step back to understanding who needs what at what price.
Okay, so I will be summarizing.
Yes.
Price.
Yes.
Identify your costs. Yeah. And your clients.
Yes. I love that.
Amazing. Because we start with butterflies and flowers in our head and we don't think about those things. And we just say, we can sell that in $25. I can provide this service in $50, but we don't think about all those things.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Thank you.
That's good to know. What else? Let's see.
I'll say that, again, like I like to say to people, it's an error and trial, right? And particularly for immigrants, sometimes it can be very hard to find the client, right? Because you come from a different countries where people, like I say, people have different consumer behavior, people have different food allergies, different, even the industry. And if we stay in the food and restoration, there's different regulations, right? So some of the things that you were able to do for cheaper in your country, maybe now you have to have a license. That's mandatory for you to even start a business. And that's another cost. So really learning, I always say to people for the first few months, just learn about the industry that you are going to be launching your business or operating. Learn about it also in your city, right? Let's say we know Manitoba is very, it's still multicultural, but it's a smaller city compared to Toronto. So maybe the population of, for example, Ivorian people, there's not a lot of us. Like we speak French, so all of us are in Quebec. So it's very important for you to understand the demographic of the province you're going to be doing business with. If most of your client will not be from your same background, then maybe they have different expectation from a cookie that you were selling there very successfully, but here you're struggling to sell because maybe it's not the right product for the market.
My jewelry. I started selling jewelry.
How did I go? How did that go?
Oh my, not that good. It didn't work here.
Yeah, definitely. And same for me. I'm also an entrepreneur, so I don't just do advisory and consulting. I'm also in the same boat. And like I said, even sometimes I catch myself being like, oh, I'm following the rules, but why is this not, clicking? And I'm just understanding that as entrepreneurs, you have to learn to adapt. You have to learn to adapt to your market and be very resourceful. If you try something, you give yourself a short period of time to say, okay, I'll be trying that for the next 3 months. Those are my goals, and those can be financial goals, like I want to reach 6,000 for the next few months. And then after that, take a break. Look at, did you reach that goal? What happened? And always being able to take a second to question why you're not reaching your goals, especially when it comes to profit, like why you're not reaching the profit. Is it pricing? Is it branding? Is it client? Is it too much cost? Or is it just the wrong product?
Yeah.
Right? So, and it's not personal. I always say to entrepreneurs, take a moment, give yourself short-term goals, and take a moment to assess, to see how the business is going. Don't wait for 1 year where you're already maybe in debt, or you already started to see the business sloping. Just every 3 months, sit down. Did I reach my goal? Why did I reach my goal? How can I change my process? Is it product? Is it the pricing? Is it just the wrong market? So
we have been talking about something very technical,
yes.
But what about the mindset?
Yeah.
Our emotions. We are exhausted. We feel sad sometimes. We are desperate because we think everything is gonna run like fast. How can we deal with that?
Absolutely. I think my advice for immigrant particularly is to be able to take deep breath and practice a lot of self-care and mental health care, because there's already a mental load of starting from zero, starting in a new place, not for zero, starting in a new place, because I know we come in with a lot to offer. So I always say to immigrant, don't think you're starting from zero, just think you're starting new. So just taking care of your mental health, be in community. And when I say community, I feel like now, particularly for me, I've joined a lot of BIPOC community, and it's very important to be surrounded with people who are from the same cultural background or have the same aspiration as you, because then you will start feeling that you're not the only one encountering those roadblocks, and maybe hearing how other people deal with it, because most of the time in business experiences, someone went through the same situation and somehow they were able to apply or find a solution that worked. So mental health and stay in community, whether it's business community or ethnical communities, just surround yourself with people that are gonna lift you
Understand
up.
also.
Understand the struggle, and not judge you or put much pressure, but they will just, like I also say, they will protect you and motivate you for you to go out there and win. That's always what I say. I said I am with my community because I feel empowered. When I live there, I can conquer the world.
As an entrepreneur, I always experience the multitasking that I'm promoting the business, I'm working on the finances, I'm doing sales, I'm checking my suppliers, and it's lots. It's lots.
Absolutely.
And then I say, I'm working more and earning less.
Usually it is what it is.
Yeah, but sometimes it's frustrating. So I know
Absolutely.
those people who are there.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we also help is a plan for growth, right? People think that people grow accidentally, and it's not usually the case. There is a process for growing, and that's why it's very important. One of the technical things that I work with people is what I usually call a plan for growth, which really encompasses for someone hiring or delegating and things like that, just when the entrepreneur is ready. And there's different signs to be ready, but it's not impossible to grow. I know it's very hard, but it's not something that's out of the scope for immigrant. I always encourage people to dream big, go harder, and learn along the way.
Yeah, I think this is very important to think about because I have a friend, she started a business a few years ago and she's growing. And I was telling her, there are 3 things you should focus right now, and one of them is leadership, because you need people with your mindset to do those things that you're doing now, but because you need to be in a different space now. And you need to care about those people if you want to keep growing, and the business is expanding. So this is another stage, and this is something that sometimes we don't think about when we start. And I appreciate that you're mentioning and that you can support those businesses too. Because sometimes we think it's when we start a business we need support, but as we grow we need a different support.
Need different support for sure.
Yeah.
There's more responsibilities, like you said. There's
Yeah.
more responsibilities. You have people that you depend on. So even the concept of profit is even more heavier. Or when you start growing, and there's a roadmap for this type of strategy as well for people.
So mentoring is something very important. Mentoring and finding people who are where you want to be.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, there's always someone who has experience, even if not worse than what an individual, someone might be experiencing, and it's good to don't stay alone and be out there, carve out a little bit of time. I know as entrepreneurs we run 7/24, but it's important to be intentional with our timing, like you said, to focus on your mental health, yourself, and also have a little bit of time to go out in the community, to hear other stories, to connect with mentors, to be able to move forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Carine. Thank you so much for your time and your insights. I will take notes at the end of this conversation, and I will use those tips and strategies for my business. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. The pleasure is mine. And congratulations again on such a wonderful initiative. I know it's so much needed in the community.
Yeah, thank you. Any advice to say goodbye before we say goodbye?
As I said, being an immigrant, we have more to give because we have so much talent, diversity, and we are a plus in the business community, in entrepreneurship for people in the community in Canada. So should see ourselves as go-getters.
Thank you, Carine. Thank you so much, and hoping to have you next time very soon. And thank you to our wonderful audience for being there once again at the Newcomer Network. And this is your Multicultural channel. Don't miss it. See you next time. I was very happy to join Carine and join you and bring very interesting and important topics for you. Bye-bye. See you.